I was in Brampton yesterday, and look, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but the energy is on the other side, and I don't know how that's possible. Here's something that might be interesting. Look, there's 18 days till the election, I think. I got to check the math. Yeah, there's 18 days. Oh, my God. That's not a lot of time. But something happened in Ottawa today. Sam Cooper broke news about another Chinese spy running for the Liberal Party of Canada.
Yep.
To replace the last Chinese spy who was sacked after Carney held on to him for a week. Peter Yuen, who used to be the deputy police chief in Toronto, or deputy commissioner, I can't remember which, is going to all these Chinese Communist Party events in Canada, dressed in his full regalia.
Police uniform. Yeah.
Can you grab that video again, Olivia? By the way, you cannot use your uniform for partisan means in Canada. But
right.
There he is using it for partisan means for the Chinese Communist Party. Here's a
right.
10
Ask James Topp. Ask James Topp how that goes.
Yeah, exactly right. Here's 10 seconds of him at an event with a half dozen other Toronto cops singing a Chinese Communist Party song at an official Chinese Communist Party event. Take a look. So that's 7, 8 Toronto police or other GTA police singing a Chinese Communist Party song in uniform. So let's say you're a Chinese Canadian and one of these cops shows up and speaks to you in Chinese and tells you certain things. Are they representing the Chinese Communist Party, or are they representing the neutral Toronto Police Service?
Or go one step further, Ezra. Sorry to interrupt. Imagine you're a member of the Chinese diaspora being intimidated out of the consulate the way Michael Chong was.
Right.
And you go to the police to report it, and you get one of these dudes.
They would be assigned to you because it's a DEI move. Let me just say that Sam Cooper broke a story.
Yep.
And then the Globe and Mail went big with it about this cop we just showed you singing his Chinese Communist anthem. Let me show you Mark Carney's response. I was talking to Sam Cooper earlier today, and Sheila, let's see if you or Tamara have the same reaction to me. What is one thing in here that pushes a button in your head of, there's an echo here from something earlier. Let's see if you feel that way, because that's how I feel. Take a look. It's about a 1-minute response. Take a look.
My colleagues have a story today about a Liberal candidate's relations with China-friendly groups and a meeting that you also held with a pro-Beijing group. So my question is, why did you meet with this pro-Beijing group, Jiangsu Commerce Council of Canada? And is the party okay with the fact that Liberal candidate Peter Yuen has been so close with the Chinese consulate and China-friendly groups, given the public inquiry into foreign interference says that this is a tactic China uses to exert influence?
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but you can't believe everything you read in the Globe and Mail. So in your question, and I guess in the article in question, you said I had a meeting with whatever your term was, Beijing group. I've never heard of this group, okay? Never heard of this group. Certainly didn't have a set-up meeting with this group. Full stop. So check your sources before you write things like that, okay? Or your colleagues do. I'm a politician. I go to events where there are hundreds and thousands over the course of a day of different people there. That is not a meeting. If somebody happens to be in the room, takes a picture with me, that's not a meeting, okay? First point. Secondly, with respect to Mr. Yuen, this is a person who has served his community for decades. This is a person who's deputy commissioner of the police, okay? A person in discharge of those responsibilities meets with a variety of community groups in the community because that's his job. That's his responsibility. We're proud to have him as a candidate, and I honor his service, including on today. Thank you.
Now, there's a lot of BS in there, but was there something that triggered a memory for you?
It reminds me of Trudeau denying the Globe and Mail's reporting, I think, on SNC Lavalin.
That's exactly right. I do not think that's a coincidence.
It's also a complete fabrication because then Steve Chase from the Globe and Mail produces photos of Carney meeting with this organization that he says he's never heard of before. He's literally there. It's on the JCC website.
Yeah.
They have a whole write-up about it on their website, and it's easy to translate. You can see for yourselves what they say about Carney.
Now, I love poking fun at what I call the media party, the regime media, the mainstream media. I use all those terms. Sometimes I say legacy media when I'm being friendly. I don't use the word lamestream media because that just feels sort of dopey, but I say regime media a lot. Look at Andy Lee. Look at that photo. I've never heard of the group before. Yeah, and there he is posing with them. But I do not think it's a coincidence that Mark Carney said, "Don't believe the Globe and Mail," because that is such an unusual thing to say about the Globe and Mail for a man of the establishment.
Right.
It echoes what they said to Justin Trudeau, what Justin Trudeau said, rather, when the Globe and Mail blew the lid off the Jody Wilson-Raybould SNC Lavalin corruption scandal. And I remember Steve Chase saying, I can't remember if it was a private conversation or in public, he said they were a little bit worried when Trudeau just outright denied it because they had a lot of circumstantial evidence, but the key woman herself, Jody Wilson-Raybould, did not go off the record and give them all the background. She kept her oath of confidentiality to caucus and confidence and didn't blab. So they had a lot of circumstantial evidence and a lot of pieces, but they weren't 100% certain. Let's say they were 90% certain. And Trudeau comes out and says the story in the Globe and Mail today is false. And they're thinking, oh my God, did we get it wrong? But in fact, they got it very right. But the fact that Trudeau called them a liar was a stimulus for them to go and prove it. Today, Gerald Butts is advising Mark Carney. Gerald Butts was Trudeau's advisor during the Jody Wilson-Raybould fiasco. I bet you Gerald Butts fed that line to Mark Carney, which is so dumb, because why would you turn Bob Fife and Steve Chase, the lead reporters of the Globe and Mail, why would you taunt them? Why would you get into a fight with people who buy barrels of oil by the barrel, ink by the barrel, excuse me? Like, the Globe and Mail is the most prestigious newspaper of record in the country. It's particularly well read in Ontario in establishment circles. And if you've just taunted them and said your story is false, when all this information is public source, there's no secret source of this information. It's all out there because the Chinese communists are boasting about it. I think that Mark Carney may have made a terrible mistake today. I don't know what you think.
Well,
it reminds me too of him saying, Paul Chang, when he called for the bounty, that it was a teachable moment, and then that quickly had to be walked back.
Yeah.
So I wonder what we'll see tomorrow on this file, if there is any indication of how the Liberal Party will backpedal on these remarks, because when he called Paul Chang his bounty on his political opponent a teachable moment, the outrage ensued thereafter.
Yeah, well, this is interesting. I don't think this matter's over. I was talking to Sam Cooper. It'll be on my show tonight. I talked to him about half an hour about this stuff, and he says more is in the pipeline. I absolutely believe it.
We are so proud to offer our weekday daily unscripted live stream where you can tune in, stay informed, and even engage directly with us. We have a rotating set of Rebel News journalists that join, and it's just a fun way to get to know us a little bit better and hear our unfiltered, off-the-cuff commentary. But this doesn't run on thin air. It takes resources, time, and of course, effort. That's why we're calling on you to support us. It's very simple. You just visit rebelnews.com/Rebel Roundup and help us not only by watching, but by sharing that link with all of your friends. And hey, maybe even consider chipping in a small donation to help fuel our independent journalism and keep Rebel News alive. Every dollar counts and every contribution keeps us going. Visit rebelnews.com/Rebel Roundup to learn more. Thanks so much for your support.